Alan's that shit. That's my outro. Anyways, hello, my wonderful bros of the Maverick Nation. I'm the Maverick, and this will be part 3 of shit. I had a nosebleed there for a second. Freaking terrified of nosebleeds. You guys don't understand. I have nosebleed PTSD. Same thing with my big toes. You guys may think it's funny, but it's not. It's actually pretty scary. Well, at least for me, it is. Oh boy. Anyways, it should be part 3 of a series, I believe. Come on, come on. Work, brain, work. I believe GALLEMYTALE, part 3. GALLEMYTALE, part 3. What if GALLEMYTALE, part 3? And last time I checked, we left off part 2. Gallamy was in Mellowwood, a place called Mellowwood, with a girl called Yandere, because I do not know the actual name of that girl, the girl that you play as in Yandere Simulator. And if you're wondering what she looks like, it's the default Yandere look. It's the default look, like the look at the beginning of the game that you have at the beginning of the game. If anyone's familiar with Yandere Simulator. So yeah. He's basically living, in the same house with Yandere. Technically, it's more or less an apartment. And Galamy is made very aware of this, considering everything that goes on day in, day out. But hey, Mellowwood isn't that bad of a place. It's surrounded by a lot of good land, sea and air, and a lot of good people, some not so good people, and well, if you're looking for a place to get blackout drunk as frickin' hell and back, you know, it's a good place for that. Like freaking pub hop. What's it called? Pub hopping. If you're looking for a place to go pub hopping, I don't know if they would call it. I don't know if they would call the places pubs or bars or whatever. But if you're looking for a place to go pub hopping, you could check out Mellowwood if it was an actual real place. The Mellowwood I'm talking about. I don't know about the Mellowwoods you guys know about, if you do know about any Mellowwoods, but the one that I'm talking about, it's a good place to go, like freaking pub hopping. If you just want to go pub hopping, you know, like celebrate, like maybe you just graduate in college or boarding school or whatever the frick you go to, and you want to celebrate by getting plastered off your ass, doing some major ass freaking pub hopping. Like, get so freaking drunk, like blackout drunk, off your ass that you have no ass left because your ass has redirected itself into your face so hard that it refuses to exist in the same, like, reality as your face. And the only time where it actually stops that happening is whenever you're sober, like hungover or not. I mean, it will be extremely painful if you're hungover, but not really for Gallamy because, he's supposed to be this immortal, super awesome, like, experiment. And he is. He's not just supposed to be, he actually is a super ultimate immortal, like, experiment that, was created. And, they didn't mess up. He actually is that. So, the whole, like, hangover thing and, well, limit on how much you can drink before, like, alcohol poisoning, that's not a factor. Those things aren't factors that are in Gallamy's life. Alcohol poisoning and hangovers, not factors in his life. So yeah, he can just drink all he wants, and he can just get so freaking shit faced, blackout drunk, just get like freaking motorboat blasted, trashed, toasted, roasted, just wipe the floor clean, ass freaking drunk, and the next day, it will just be, he'll just be like, yeah, that was great. Problem, big problem. It's not the same with Yandere. Yandere is not the same way. She's still human. And, so she still has to follow the same rules as humans. She is not a super freaking awesome, biological, technological experiment, like God mod experiment, God mod level experiment. And so, she hasn't been altered to, be at the level that Gallamy's at. And so she has to kind of go by the same, like, rule set that all the other humans have to. Unless you're, like, one of those, like, freaking, what's it called in Game of Thrones? Like, is it the Lannisters that are the ones that drink a lot? Or, it's like a T name, like Tyranian freaking Lannister. It was like a T name and then like Lannister. Yeah, I think so. And something about they like how like, they drink a lot. And, like those people especially drink the freaking asses off. And well, you know, freaking Yandere over here is not a freaking Lannister, and she isn't Gallamy, so she doesn't have those privileges of just being able to drink yourself to death and back. She isn't that like lucky. I guess you could call it lucky, but with like the Lannisters, since they're still like mortal beings of a certain like value, I guess you could say, they would still have hangovers, but Gallamy, that's not a problem. So yeah, both the whole thing, both things are kind of like null and void. So yeah, null and void with Gallamy. What was I talking about again? Oh Jesus Christ, Christ Almighty. Anyways, I guess mainly what I was talking about is, you know, Gallamy likes his life, Mellowwood, and he has a good relationship with the mayor, and he's just like, the whole Don guy and that thing where I said that thing that I said, basically what I actually did was this, but nobody needs to be told, like, we can keep a secret, right? And, considering what Gallamy Sands actually is, a skeleton who can do all of this crazy shit. And, the mayor would not want to piss off a skeleton who can do all this crazy shit and is like so damn strong and so damn fast, he would not want to piss off that powerful of a being of any kind. The mayor isn't stupid. And so, they don't ever get like told on. You know, their secret is safe with the mayor. And so, yeah, Mellowwood's a good time. And that is until, well, the whole thing with hormones and, you know, if it isn't with guys, it's with girls. If it isn't with girls, it's with guys. Or, you could have it a certain way if, you're wanting to get into homosexuality. I don't know how deep I want to delve in there. Not saying I'm against homosexuality, but we have standards in the Maverick Nation. We have standards that we have to uphold. And those standards are only for me to know as of now. As of now, those standards are only for me to know. Anyways, well, you know, Gallamy basically having previously been Screwball, Screwball previously, being a woman, you know, female, like pony, like that, and now, like, a male skeleton, would be feeling some strange things. Like, am I supposed to be feeling this? Like, the only time I've ever felt anything similar to this is with mothball, mothball, with Mothy, because I believe that I remember that being the nickname that Screwball gave him, Mothy. The only time I remember feeling anything close to this is whenever I was with Mothy. You know, just talking. Gallamy would just be talking to himself. Be like, the only time I remember feeling anything like that is whenever I was with Mothy. But that's whenever I was a girl, and now I'm a guy. Man, everything is so damn complicated. Wish I could just let out all my rage, but I don't want to blow this place up. I have a lot of fond memories here, and, you know, Yandere lives here. She makes me happy. A lot of things here make me happy. This place, in general, makes me happy. Just living here, being a part of this community, I'm happy. So, maybe it shouldn't matter. Maybe I should just trust my gut, and be Gallamy Sands. No more will I be tied to that previous title. I'm Gallamy Sands from now on, damn it. And that's how it's going to be. I'm happy this way. I'm happy this way. And well, not long after that, just feeling of happiness, you know, Gallamy would just realize I have to do it. I have to tell her. Like, if I'm going to finally, be okay with everything, I have to be able to do it. And so, Gallamy just goes up there and is like truthful with Yandere, with everything, like past life being a girl, liking some person that she called Mothy. even though his name was Mothball. And all the drama, like the freaking shit that came with that. And well, basically the whole shit and drama that came with the destruction of her whole world and all the experiments that turned her into who she is now, or well, who he is now. Considering things, certain things. And Yandere would just be like, well, that surely is different. And Galmy would just be like, I would understand if you don't want to be around me anymore. And Yandere would just be like, hell no. I would especially want to be around you. I mean, even though you were scared that I might not like you anymore, you still confronted me and you still said what you needed to say. You're strong, Galamy, and I like you because of it. You're strong and you don't back down for anyone. I love you, Galamy. And Galamy Sims would just be like, love you too, Leia. Love you too, Yandere. And so, yeah, they would kind of have a passionate night. And, well, basically, whenever they wake up after their passionate night, not too long after that, Galamy would get a scare of, pregnancy. You know, he was going to be a father. And actually, this one was a rare case because it turns out from all the scannings that the doctors were getting, she had been pregnant for a while. You know, Yandere and Galmy had been doing the nasty for some time. And, well, so yeah, she had been pregnant for some time. And so the child's actually expected to, be born, relatively soon. And so, all these things have got to be, thought up of, like, and well, Yalmy thinks something up, and Yandere doesn't really have anything up in her head except for the names of, her former classmates. But, those are people that are, dead because of her, so, yeah, that doesn't exactly send the best message. And she doesn't even know why she was thinking of her former classmates. Guess it must just be one of those things which you just think random things every so often. You just have one of those brain fart moments. And Gallamy's like, he agrees. Like, you just have those brain fart moments every now and again. And, he's actually like, he's thinking of something. He thinks of something. Well, well, he's thinking of something. And considering whenever it's said that he's going to be born, you know, as a little funny, he decides, what about, you know, if it's possible, which the test have said it's highly possible that It could be another skeleton. What about Christmas? I mean, he's going to be born around the time of year. And Christmas doesn't just have to mean one thing. And besides, what it already means is a good thing. So, how could it be that bad to name our son that? Besides, at least it's something original. And Yonder is just like, well, it's original enough to you. Well, I really don't have anything. Fine. Christmas. And eventually, an insane amount of pain is coursing through Yandere's lower body. And she knows what this is. Her water's broken. Yeah, whenever the doctor said that this baby was going to be had soon, he meant it. So, yeah, they basically get to the emergency room because this looks like this actually could be something of like an actual legit emergency. Like the kid could be in danger of like something bad happening if they don't get there quick. And so basically just holding her hand and or her arm basically holding the entire thing the entire way is Gallamy Sands, and he's just like, shh, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Shh, it's gonna be fine. Just, trying to calm her down. And eventually, like, Yandere sees the child's eyes. Well, they're not really eyes, they're eye lights. Turns out Gallamy was right. Turns out his genes were more dominant than hers when concerning like what the child would be, will end up becoming. And well, you know, eventually, it would come time like they would finally be able to take turns like holding hands. Like more not really holding hands, like holding the kid. And it would kind of be hard to pry the little Christmas away from his dad because, Galmy would just be lost, you know, just having a really tight grip until he finally realized it and be like, sorry. And just be like, it's all right. It's fine. It's just eventually, whenever everything was, you know, settled down and, they were able to get back to everything being normal again, or normal enough for their little quiet town. For the first 3 years of Christmas's life, in fact, he had actually been christened the name Christmas Sans by his father, seeing as he was a skeleton and not a human, you know, and Galmy Sans. Galmy thought, it would be something neat. Christmas Sans. And, well, Yandere wasn't really going to argue with him. She really didn't feel like it. She was exhausted after just giving birth. And, it had been 3 years. And, well, it would just be, the three of them, yandere, sitting on a rock, and, you know, out closer towards the water would be Christmas and Gallamy. Gallamy would have his arm behind Christmas's back and all the way wrapped around him. And, occasionally he would, like, try to ruffle his head a little, like, yeah. And, Yandere just watching, and, well, it will just be sometime, some very, very good time. And then there would come the day in which, you know, Gallamy, it would be his turn to pick Christmas up from school, seeing as Gallamy was like, absolutely not. He is not going to be homeschooled. I refuse. So it would be his turn to pick Christmas up from school, and, well, basically, around the time in which he picks Christmas up, he gets a call. And the call is from the, the sheriff. Gallamy and the sheriff know each other because the sheriff knows the mayor, and the mayor knows Gallamy, so Gallamy would know the sheriff. And so, since Gallamy and the sheriff know each other, you know, it's just going to be like casual talk, like, Gallamy would just enter in with casual talk, be like, dude, what's up? Why are you calling me this time of day? And the sheriff would basically just blaze in with, it's, it's, yonder. You guys gotta see this. Don't let the boy into this. Don't let him into this. You gotta see it. Only let him know whenever it comes the right time. But this is not the right time. Not for him. Not for anyone to see this. And, Gallamy would drive over to his house and he would just be like, okay, what the hell is going on? What are you talking about? And he would, just see whenever he would walk into his house, because there would be like tape everywhere. And, he would just walk into his house and he would see. He would keep Christmas from following him by blue souling Christmas just about the time that he was about to get out of the car. And what Gallamy would see is a bloodbath. And he would be like, who did this? Who in God's name did this? I want to know right now. And, well, basically, everyone would be freaking. Like, they would have no freaking idea. And, well, eventually, like, after everything was done and over with, you know, Galmy would kind of be a single parent, and, you know, Christmas Sans here is only 3 at the time. And so, Christmas Sans is just like, Dad, what happened back there? And Galley would just be like, he would just take a drink of some beverage and he would just be like, something you don't need to be worrying about, son. Now, please get to bed. It's the school night. I, I can. And knowing that he is probably too drunk as hell to be able to actually stand up, you know, and one of the more depressing things, Christmas would kind of feel obligated to, kind of maneuver his father over to his bed and, fix everything for him. His father is in shambles. His mother isn't around, and Christmas is slowly piecing it together, and he's slowly beginning to realize she's dead. His mother's dead. He can't do anything about it. Same thing with father. He can't do anything about it either. And he's destroyed. That's why he's been drinking so much more than he usually does. The only time he ever drinks this much is whenever he's, what does he say, pub hopping? And he doesn't do that nearly as much now that I'm around, or at least that's what Mom says. He used to do it a lot more before I was born. That's what Mom said. Pub hopping. You know, Christmas Sans would take a little swig out of what was left of Gallamy's drink and would just be like, ugh, what is this stuff? Ugh. And who would be crazy enough to drink it? Ugh, poor taste. That's what it is. Poor taste incarnate. And Christmas Sans would just get himself to sleep, and soon it would come up to the time where it would be, the time for the Christmas party. You know, everyone would celebrate. It would be great. And by the time that this in particular Christmas party rolls around, it's been several years, and you know, each year they have a Christmas party. And each year and each time that they have the Christmas party, the same thing happens. You know, Christmas Sans is basically being used as a laughing stock for everyone else's amusement. And Christmas Sans just tells himself, not anymore. He refuses to let others use him for their own amusement. And so, he tries to, gather some friends, at least some people who he thinks he can trust. And, well, even though they're also friends with some people he isn't really that trustworthy with, they can't be all that bad. And, these people, they lead, they say they're going to lead Christmas Sans to a special adults only spot slash area of, the place they're going to for the Christmas party. And so, basically, they have everything they need on the list, and, they just have copies of the list, and, whenever Christmas Sans gets his copy, he's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a costume party. This is gonna be great. I know exactly what I'm gonna go in as. And that's when basically he would just bolt into his room, and whenever he would come out, Gallamy would just be walking across the hall and he would see, like, his son decked out in a freaking Santa costume. And Gallamy would just be like, what's the Santa drip for? And, Christmas Sans would just be like, Dad, don't you ever remember? It's gonna be the Christmas party. And I'm finally going to be able to not mess up this time. I won't be the joke. I won't be the butt of the joke of the party this time. I'll actually be able to, be like everybody else. Be somebody, you know? Be cool instead of you know, a loser like every other year. I will be getting a chance to be with the cool kids. And, Galamy would just be like, okay, I know this. Well, I should at least make sure that he doesn't have anything illegal on him. Doesn't smell like he has any alcohol. I can't, ordain any sort of illegal substance. He passes my test. I just hope he doesn't get too humiliated too bad this year. Last year was a disaster. A complete and total disaster. Just like a repeat of every other year. I really, it's just this time, for some reason, have a feeling that this year it's going to be different. And not in a good way. And, well, you know, like, freaking Christmas Sans would be at the door, and he would be on time, and everybody would be like, "Well, it's a good thing you came here early. We wouldn't want you slacking out on us." No, this is something everyone needs to be here for. It's going to be perfect. The first part is a little bit tricky. It's sort of a mismatch maze. Some people you'll be able to find, some you'll lose. Isn't that interesting? Christmas? I mean, that's part of your name. You should be an expert at this kind of stuff by now. And Christmas Sans would be like, okay. Uh, well, it looks like you're to be my partner for the maze. If you're gonna be my partner, please, can I know your name? If that's not too weird. And, this girl, who is obviously taller and even to some extent bigger than him, in, like, certain ways, would just be like, Junette. Junette Bennings. And, you know, It's just be like, Christmas Sans would just be like, okay, Sans. Christmas Sans is my name. And Junette would just be like, yeah, of course, I would know your stupid name. Let's just get through this real fast so that we don't end up getting lost like all the other losers. And, well, you know, Junette would kind of be like grabbing onto Christmas Santa's arm, forcing him to stay with her. So it would kind of be impossible for them to get lost. That is, unless like one of the things was like hacking someone's arm off, and like in that case, like hacking Christmas Santa's arm off. That's like the only way I could actually picture them getting lost in that thing, seeing as she is literally grabbing onto his arm so that they don't get lost from each other. Actually, there's another reason why she's wanting to make sure that they don't get lost from each other. And that's why this video in particular is actually, 18 plus. Unlike the other parts, this video is 18 plus part. And it's actually because of the thing that Junette is going to do to Christmas Sans. Because whenever she gets up to a certain level and, is basically forcing Christmas Sans to follow him, they just get to this place that kind of looks like some sort of abandoned warehouse room on top of like a giant tower. And so it's kind of confusing how this can even like exist up here. Though from the look of the place, Christmas Sans can see that it doesn't look like a lot of positive, like it doesn't look like this place has been used for a lot of positive things. You can see a lot of bad, very bad things that this room was probably used for. And, this actually starts to terrify Christmas Sans. And he's just like, I don't think Christmas parties are supposed to be scary. I'm scared. I mean, I'm not scared at all. And Junette would just be like, good, then this shouldn't hurt. And, Junette would just press on a button that would be underneath a board, and she would probably be one of the only people who would know about the button. And the button would just pull out like a freaking bed with like cuffs onto it, and she would cuff Christmas Sans to the bed. Christmas Sans would be like, Junette, what are you doing? And Junette would be like, what I've been wanting to do for a long time. Christmas. Why is it that you always ignore people that want you the most? You're practically like a little Christmas present right there for the unwrapping. But every time close, you always go away. What are you afraid of affection? Am I gonna have to do this the hard way? Christmas. Am I gonna have to do this the hard way, Christmas? Am I gonna have to make it a black Christmas? maybe then you'll start listening. Maybe then you'll start noticing. Whenever someone has affection for you, whenever someone wants you, then you'll start to notice. Maybe then you'll start thinking about it more and not discarding their thoughts like it's nothing, not brushing them off like they don't exist. And Christmas Sans would just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Junette would just be like, you idiot. Do you not remember? Every time, every time. No. Why? Why would you ever remember? I was the one who pulled you out of the gutter, who got you to safety after they kept on pranking you. I was the one. I was the one who helped you, who showed sympathy to you. Now, do you remember? And Christmas Sans would just be like, uh, wait, you were that girl? Junette, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I never noticed you till now. And Junette would just be like, no. You see, Christmas? Sorry, I ain't gonna cut it anymore. I want you, and I'm going to have you. I am going to have my white Christmas. Now, come on. I know you wanna. Let's peel off that exterior and get rid of that stupid hat. Yes. Now, we can go even deeper. We can get to the core. And then on and on, over and over. And, Christmas Sans this time will just be like, no, you don't understand. Please, God. No. And Jeanette would just be like, on and on, over and over, without fail, without stopping. Oh, we can do it over, over, on and on. That's right. Right. And my neck. Right there. Right there. I know. Yeah. You want to try to wriggle away. You want to bite down hard so that I'll spring off of you and you can try to find your way out of this. You can bite down, but I won't jump. I've been rehearsing this for a long time. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Now, up your cord, up and down and all around. Easy does it. You can go all night if you want. It's not like anyone's going to come up here. Hell, people even think this place is even being used. So, truly, no one is here to save you. Like you need saving. We're just, we're just being kids, right? Right? Just kids. Over and over. Deeper, deeper. But eventually, there is some, knocking about her around. And, you know, I forgot her name. She ends up having to put her clothes back on. But by the time, she's getting everything together, trying to, like, make a jump for, like, out the freaking window, she is, in her mind, she is, like, definitely not getting caught by the police. But someone does end up stopping her. And it ends up being one of, like, the, you know, people, uh, you know, real good friends with the skeleton household. And, they just catch her and then they go on to see who was shackled, you know, cuffed to that bed. They're getting him off. They're doing it just fine. They're picking the locks. He's getting off, but he ain't moving. He's froze there like an icicle. That boy, at least that's what the officer can tell, that he's male. That boy, look on his face. Basically, he goes over to the sheriff and he tells him, "Sheriff, are you still on the phone with you know who?" And the sheriff says yes. And basically, the person says, "Uh, um, do you think I should? Do you think you should or shouldn't tell him that his son may never be the same again?" And then the sheriff just goes straight over to that guy and he just grabs him by the collar and he's like, "What the hell happened in there? Or are you trying to say he may never be the same again? That girl, she tried to jump out of the way. No, no way in hell. I know every year that same thing happens. He gets put through hell in a fortnight, but this is insanity. No wonder the kid wouldn't be ever the same again. But if what I'm getting is what you're getting, if what you're getting is what I'm getting, and Gallamy would just be like, "What's going on out there? Am I going to have to drive all over there to check this out?" And the sheriff is just like, "Well, if you would like visual verification, yes." And Gallamy's just like, "Visual verification of what?" And the sheriff would just be like, "The fact that a friend of mine, he wanted to know if I thought it would be okay to tell you whether or not, basically, whether or not to let you know if your son was going to ever be ever, basically ever be the same boy again." And with that, Gallamy is just like, "What the did? What the hell happened there?" What did you do to my boy? My baby boy. What did you do to him? And the sheriff is like, hey, we didn't do anything. In fact, it's quite the contraire. Student on student contact. Contact that was not of consent from the look from your child. And just from that, Gallamy is just like, okay, I don't know about you, but I'm going there. And he just pulls us up there, straight up there, like speeds past, like just speeds in, and he's just like, "Where is my son?" And the sheriff is just like, "There's your boy." And the sheriff's assistant is just like, "Oh, there is a fire in that man like there ain't no fire ever been there before, like fire of the gods. Oh, have mercy to whoever has to deal with him in court." Galamy's like, "Court? I'll roast their asses right now." "What did they do to you, son?" And, Christmas he's not talking. And just from that, Galamy knows, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And, Galamy would just break down and, they would just all be sent to the police station. Galamy would be in tears, and, still no words coming from Christmas Sans. And, eventually, whenever, like, Christmas Sans would finally fall asleep, whenever he would wake up, still in the police station, the sheriff's assistant would tell him that against, his advice, Galamy left, just auto left Mellowwood. He just straight up left. Like, he doesn't know where he's going, but, like, that's basically what the sheriff assistant is saying. He said he doesn't know where he's going, but he's going somewhere. Somewhere to get rid of all this. And, well, Christmas is just like, yes. Any of this, sir? But I'm going to have to, sorry, sir, but I'm going to have to use lethal force. And the sheriff's assistant just has no idea what he's talking about. Like, what are you talking about? And he just sees like a freaking like a can of Red Bull in Christmas's hand, and in his other hand, there's like some sort of thing, and like he breaks open the can of Red Bull and squirts something in from the thing, throws the thing, the can that had the stuff in, throws it into a trash can, and will just squeezes really tight onto the can of Red Bull and just directs it straight, blasts it straight, point blank, into the dude's face. And the dude's just like, and he just falls on the ground, and Christmas just slightly kicks him, and it turns him over to reveal that his entire freaking skull just got melt that, like all of the skin, all of the flesh, just revealing his skull. Not even his eyes, just his skull left, like whatever that concoction was in there. You just blasted into his face and it melted everything off. And then the acids from whatever was left start to erode like the other like skin and flesh, like just genuine like meat and skin and everything off until all of it is just bone and like singed cloth. And like all of like the metal stuff is like warped and just mangled, tattered, just destroyed. So kind of like some sort of like chemical rocket, chemical rocket blast. Yeah, that's basically what, Christmas Sans just did there. He created some sort of chemical rocket blast straight into the sheriff assistant's face. And the person working out the counter, which is just some sweet old lady, and she just sees this and she's just like, okay, please don't kill me. And well, one of those big ass textbooks, you know, there would just be a textbook lying in like his backpack, which would be there, and he would just take the textbook and he would like use it to smash the glass, and the glass would like be in the lady's face, and like the glass would like start to open up the wounds a lot, and like from like the germs on the skin, it would like start to infect all of the wounds and like slowly just start to like erode the skin and like all the flesh away. And that would get rid of that. And just the sheriff, as Christmas Sans is walking out, just the sheriff would be there, and he'd have his guns out, and he would have his guns out, and he'd just like, start blasting, like that meme, like, and I would just start blasting, but he would indeed like start blasting because he would hear all the screams of pain and terror, but Christmas Sans would just be like just dash straight behind him, and he would use his little Santa hat, and he would basically just like it would be soaked in something, and like the sheriff could already tell what it was soaked in, and then it would just get smudged in his face, and he would be out. Chloroform. They would basically just He would basically just be like chloroform soaked freaking Santa hat. And, you know, just drag the guy and like take out a freaking bungee cord, strap one of his feet to the bungee cord, and strap one of the under and one of the other ends of the bungee cord to the end of his car, get into his car, and start driving and do donuts, just like to like keep on stretching the bungee cord until it just rips off and the dude's freaking body just goes flying. And he ends up just like getting skewered on one of those big crosses that they have in the churches. Just get skewered on one of those. Like get old crucifixed. And after doing some driving, just driving around in this guy's car, like the sheriff's car, because he would make sure to steal the sheriff's car, like kill him with his own car. You know, that shit. You know, he would make sure to, you know, drive off in style, but he would basically like I don't know if police cars still do this, but they have like the guns that if like you press the button, the gun comes out of like the top of the car and shoots. But I'm gonna say it does, and he pressed the button, and the gun shoots. But whenever it shoots, its aim is towards the license plate, and so all of like the bolts for like the license plate just comes off, and so nobody can really track him all that well because they don't have a license plate number, and so it's just yeah. First of all, it's a police car, and second of all, they don't have a license plate number. And well, it would just be like there would just be one arm and there would be another arm. And well, basically why this is important is because, you know, Christmas Sands he would stop at some remote ass location, like a freaking mom and pop freaking place, like the freaking oh, what do you call it? What do you call it? Damn it! Parking lot. Jesus Christ. You would just stop in at the parking lot to some sort of mom and pop business place, and he would just be thinking to himself, like sitting at like the trunk of like his car that he just got himself, and he would just be like, so yeah, I know what I want to do first, but before that, even I should probably well and just as kind of like a bandana over his like hoodie arm, he would kind of do that, like have his little Santa Claus hat and like have it wrapped around his left arm and has like a little bandana wrapped around arm thing. And well, you know, the basic look of Christmas Sands is, red and white, like Santa, what Santa wears. The only exception being like the sneakers, which wouldn't really be sneakers like black and white sneakers. They wouldn't be black and white sneakers. They'd be like black and white sandals. And you better figure out how, like somebody better figure out how that works. And well, yeah, that would happen. And you know what the perfect way to like get revenge on somebody is? You know, I'd reference to the movie Terminator. You know, he would just go into the store and he would see that the person who did that to him is there. And, this would have been a few years after the incident, but he would still remember it because, that shit is scarring. So, he would still remember. And he would just go out of the store, but before he did, he would just, you know, look at the people running the store and he'd be like, I'll be back. And he would basically, find some people with an 18 wheeler and he'd be like, I want your truck. And they'd be like, sorry, but you can't have it, not sorry. And at this point, Christmas Sans would have newly christened himself as Black Christmas Sans. And, he would actually, you know, find good interest in knives and guns. And he would use a lot of that to kill them. And, just bury them off somewhere. And, take their 18 wheeler and shove it straight through the whole mom and pop store where, you know, the the person who did that bad thing to him all that time ago was, because he could kind of gather from information that he was hearing about, he was listening in on the conversations that they were going to be there for a while. So, he knew he had some time to like mess around. And so he would just be like, I'll be back. And he would actually do the thing where he would like drive the thing into the store and it would kill the person. And he'd just be like, no witnesses. And just be like just like bullet hell. And so yeah, it would have been a bloody freaking massacre. And it would have all been done on Christmas. Yeah, it's been taken note of that most of these, bloody acts of violence have been, been done on like freaking Christmas or like something centered around like something like that. And people will just be like, if you spot anyone who like looks anything close to what people have been describing, excuse me, like, you know, come and report to like the like, you know, professionals, like the people that handle this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, basically, you know, Christmas Sans got his revenge, and he also christened himself Black Christmas Sans, and is now, doing his whole thing, you know, basically, after what happened to him, he decided he wasn't going to take anyone else's shit anymore, and so he became a murderer. Thanks, lady. Now this happened. Thanks a lot. Anyways, Alan's the analysis because action of Maverick's out of here. Yeah, boys. And like, favorite, subscribe, comment in the comment section down below. Click that little bell for notifications. And Auction America's out of here, boys. Bye.